Today on podcast, we whine about no apps and we whine more about Microsoft. This is Sam from Shower Apps and welcome to the ShowerCast. So the very first topic I'd like to talk about is Instagram. And if you've been following Windows Phone news, then we should know that everyone has been complaining that there were no updates for over a year now. And I just wanted to say one thing that from the documents that I've seen about 1 or 2 years ago, Microsoft was actually trying really hard to please Facebook, so we would release Instagram. And that's actually one of the reasons why the Facebook app got a change from Metro design to the more like Android or iOS one is because of Microsoft's efforts to please Facebook. As in the document that I've seen, Microsoft actually listed a lot of things that we should talk about to Facebook and the improvements we are making to the platform, so we would consider Instagram. And one of these points was obviously the change of Facebook app design, which should have pleased Facebook as we have released an Instagram. Also, I believe there were talks about user base and so on, as Facebook required more users before releasing an app. So yeah, the Instagram was not updated for a while, and everyone, I guess, is recommending third-party apps, which I guess is fine as long as it doesn't have same fate as Tinder, which started banning users. As far as other great news goes, today Microsoft is going to release Windows 10 for phones, or Windows 10 Mobile, or Windows Mobile 10, however you want to call it. And I guess once we see the new release of Windows Phone for 10, Windows 10 for phones, I'm sorry, we'll probably see a lot more complaints about unpolished UI and hamburgers and so on. And I'm actually one of those guys that is not a fan of hamburger menus, although it's not the menu itself, it's more of the placement. I mean, I'm not sure why have we decided to place all the navigation buttons on top when, if you look at the BlackBerry 10, and I'm sure not many of you have seen it, but basically we have implemented hamburger menus the correct way, which is at the bottom of your screen. So I just have no idea why Microsoft has decided not to copy BlackBerry's implementation. I mean, we're already copying Android and iPhone, so why not improve on that? As far as other UI changes go, hopefully we'll see a Spartan included in this build, and hopefully the URL bar will also be at the bottom, because from early screenshots that we have seen, it's on the top, which is pretty annoying. And although we still don't have any idea which build number that will be, recently leaked screenshots actually gives us a hint about what's coming for Windows 10 for phones. So this included a new task switcher, which now allowed you to switch to close up to 4 windows at the same time. So instead of 1 thumbnail as you are used now, there will be actually 4. And I wonder if that will differ based on the screen size of the phone or a resolution, and we'll have to wait and see. And the leaker is obviously windowsmania.pl, a Polish website. There are also more changes to the UI, and it has like these rounded settings toggles right now instead of the square ones, and which some people also don't like. I guess it's just all about getting used to it. And one other thing that Microsoft is trying to do is change the contacts avatars from square to circles, which basically aligns to their own Skype design, I guess. So they are just trying to align the user interface with all their products. There are also a few other changes in the recent leak at UI, including the new Office and there also a ability to have I'm sorry. And if you're HTC One owner, you should also be let know that HTC has revealed that they will indeed release a firmware, I guess, or an update, and the HTC One will receive Windows 10 for phones. And speaking of dates, there was also a Windows Phone 8.1 Update 2, or as previously it was called GDR2, and basically it adds a keyboard functionality and also a really neat new feature which would allow you to lock your phone in case you have lost it, but it's actually a new implementation, and a fee for the one who found your phone won't be actually be able to uh, erase your data or erase the settings by, I guess, hard resetting it or so on. It will stay unlocked no matter what. Unfortunately, we don't have any details on when it's coming to our phones, and if coming at all, although Microsoft has said that it will be coming to Windows Phone 8.1 devices, at least some of them, which is Lumia 830. And the another one, I believe it was 930 or 935. What about other phones? Well, we don't know. But if you are a high-end phone owner, I'm sure we'll see a lot more complaints about you, from you. So, as far as other news goes, not Windows Phone related, the UC browser has actually released a desktop version of their software, which upon installing I actually found it really annoying, because the installation screen itself is trying really hard to set it at the default web browser, because there's just a small gear icon which you'll have to click and unselect a checkbox which basically makes it not a non-default browser on your platform. Also, once you launch the browser, it will ask you this really tricky question, which is, would you like to set UC browser as your default web browser? And there's actually a just OK button. You won't find yes or no, just like in other web browsers. Instead, it's just OK, and you'll obviously have to press the X button. So I guess for those not so tech savvy, this will actually set UC browser as their default web browser, for better or worse. And it's using Chromium, just like tons of other web browsers out there. The user interface is also sort of Maxton, a mix of Maxton web browser and Google Chrome, and it's not too bad. However, we have noticed that the tabs are above the URL bar, which we found really annoying for some reason. It's just more travel time, which is not necessarily needed. And as far as games go, this week we have reviewed Halo Spartan Assault with 9.5 rating, a really awesome cross-platform top-down shooter. A Movie Maker 8.5, which will see a major update, which should be ready for Monday, at least according to the NetherSoft developers. As far as other goes, there's also a Pocket Tanks game, which especially older guys, I mean, by older I mean over 20 years old, will definitely enjoy. and we have had a lot of positive feedback, and yeah, we should definitely give it a try. However, if you are playing on Windows 8 version, there won't be a multiplayer option for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. And if you are into racing games, we did an Asphalt 8, Airborne, and Asphalt Overdrive reviews. Asphalt Overdrive is basically just an endless runner with cars, and Asphalt 8 is pretty awesome racing game, which received a 9.5 rating from us. And if you're jealous about your friends playing the game called AA on iOS on Android, you'll be happy to know that there is now a AA dot game, which is basically a clone of the very same game where you try to land as many circles on this giant spinning globe. It's pretty hard to explain. You'll just have to check a trailer or just download and test it on your own. There are also like other games from this developer, which is BB, CC, DD, EE, and they're just variations of the very same game. Unfortunately, we are not ready, or we are not cloned and are not available on Windows Phone. However, they are not that popular, so it's not exactly a loss. And I guess that's pretty much it. And oh, there's also one more thing. Microsoft has patented Android dual boot option, which should be interesting, and we wonder how exactly and when, if Microsoft decides to implement that thing. I guess there are also a lot of talks, especially from neowin.net, about Microsoft experimenting with Android apps on Windows Phone, with some people really preferring or asking for that to be true, while other, especially a hardcore Windows Phone and Windows enthusiast, don't really want to see that happening because of the fear that then developers will pretty much abandon Windows Phone platform in general. And it's also interesting that considering Microsoft has decided to implement hamburger menus, which would make the transition to these Android apps or Android emulator much easier, because previously you had to use Metro design, which is now pretty much gone or evolved, I guess. So it wouldn't be such a harsh transition for the user, as the whole OS and apps pretty much align in terms of the user interface. And we're just wondering what kind of implementation that will be. And last time I heard, Microsoft is actually afraid that Google will, I guess, sue or take action against them in case Microsoft decides to go this way. So we'll just have to wait to see how Microsoft decides to implement this very future and when we will see that happening. And there's, as far as other new cool technologies coming, Microsoft has actually said that they are working on this mysterious new project called Arcadia, which is set to delight Windows mobile users. And if you're wondering what exactly Arcadia is, it's actually a code name for Microsoft's streaming game service, sort of like OnLive just for phones. Also, Microsoft, it was a rumor that Microsoft was to use Arcadia to bring Android apps to Windows Phone as well. So, but these plans have never materialized and have since been abandoned. There's no time frame, but I guess we could find out at the very end of this month when there's Build conference. And that's it as far as interesting news goes. I personally can't wait to test Windows 10 for phones on my Lumia 920. And we'll see what Reddit and the whole internet thinks about the new build. So this is Sam from showerapps.com. Thanks for listening to our test podcast, and I'll see you soon.